Hey kiddos, glad you came for a reading lesson today. For today's lesson, you will need a pen or pencil, you will need your reader-writer journal, and you will need a biography. You can get the biography in either a paper copy that you might happen to have, or you can look on the Epic page. Today's example is going to be about Michael Jackson. So let's get started on the lesson. Today we're going to talk about how biographers usually include the people who influenced the subject's life in their book. Remember, the subject is the person who the book is about. In my example case, it's going to be Michael Jackson is the subject. So, we are going to talk about three people that we have read biographies on in our class. The three people, or the three stories, are Radiant Child, about Jean-Michel Basquiat, hopefully I don't butcher that name too bad, Mary Cassatt, and Frida Kahlo in Me, Frida. So if we are looking at Radiant Child, Jean-Michel Basquiat was influenced by his mother. And she influenced him because she was artistic, and she took him to museums to learn about art and artists, and that inspired him to be an artist himself. Mary Cassatt was influenced by the famous painter Edgar Degas, and he influenced her by inviting her to join a group of painters that painted the way they wanted to. So not people who just followed the subscribed way of painting that maybe you learned it in school, but the way that she wanted to do it that was different from other people's. And she liked the way they painted. Our last subject is Frida Kahlo, and she was influenced by her husband, Diego Rivera, who is also a famous painter. And he took her to San Francisco, which was a new experience for Frida, and he influenced her by encouraging her to paint in her own style. Remember, everybody has their own style of art, their own way of doing things. So let's take a look at the example that we have here today. So we have who was Michael Jackson. First, you're going to need to grab your reader-writer notebook and your pen or pencil, and you're going to the mini lesson notes section where you've already glued in the notes for today, and I have mine marked so you don't have to watch me dig through my whole notebook. So here are the notes for this week, and we are going to come down here to this one that says 331 at home with video. Biographers usually include the people who influence the subject's life. And I've gone ahead and started this one by writing the title of the book and the author, Who Was Michael Jackson, by Megan Stein, and it says on the bottom, an unauthorized biography. So I'm going to start my sentence here, and I'm going to say, Michael Jackson was influenced. And remember, Michael Jackson was a musician, so he was influenced by other musicians. And a couple of the names that I found in this book were James Brown and Stevie Wonder. So Michael Jackson was influenced by James Brown and Stevie Wonder. And since this is a book, I'm going to say I found that reference on page 19. If you have your reference in the book, you can also say the page number. If you've looked it up on Epic or another digital platform, you can look for the page number or reference. If you're listening to a book, you can reference the time that you heard those influencers on. All right, kiddos, it is your turn. Go find a book on Epic or somewhere else and read it, and don't forget to write it in your reader-writer journal under your reading log so that you can keep track of what you've been reading, and then go back and write about who your subject was and who influenced your subject. Don't forget to cite the page or the timestamp that you read or heard that. See you in class.